Hello, my name is Grace Ashley, and tonight I'm going to be talking about invasive species. A definition of invasive species from the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, published in 2024, states that it's an organism that causes ecological or economic harm in a new environment where it is not native to. The invasive species that I have chosen to do today that is in Texas is the feral hog. I've chosen to do this one because I have personal experience with it and have seen the damage it causes in the environment. These feral hogs are not native to America, thus making them an invasive species. An article from the U.S. Department of Agriculture titled Feral Swine Population Distribution, published in 2023, tells us that they were believed to have originally been brought over in the early 1500s when settlers were coming over. They were brought with settlers for a food source, which makes sense, but if you've ever owned a pig or been around them, you would know that they are extremely hard to keep in cages or anything, and they reproduce rapidly. They're kind of like rabbits, and they're having multiple litters per year, as well as having lots of babies every time. So when these settlers came over, they wanted to keep them just as a food source, but some would get away and would start reproducing rapidly, causing a lot of feral hogs. Some more information from that same source tells us that there were additional hogs brought over in the mid-1900s from Russia for sport hunting. So not only did settlers cause an increase of pigs over here that are not native, so did Russia. Some of the damage they do to the environment is one that a lot of invasive species do because they don't have natural predators, is that there's just too many of them. So when they're like pigs and reproduce rapidly, it's really hard to keep the population under control, so they just overwhelm their environment with too many organisms. This causes them to compete with other animals for food sources, and since there's so many of them in the environment, so many invasives in the environment, the native animals can't compete. Another way I've seen them personally cause damage to an environment is digging up places and just ruining the landscape. They root for food, which means they dig in the ground and kind of disturb the earth wherever they are. So they leave giant mud holes and a mess like pigs normally do. One last way that I've seen them harm their environment is competing directly with animals. So this kind of goes along with competing for food sources, but we own a farm out in the middle of kind of nowhere, so there's a lot of feral pigs in our area, and they have actually killed a lot of our livestock. These feral pigs can get the size of small cows and are not safe to be around. So when we have smaller calves out in the field, or even our dogs, they are in danger of these feral hogs. One way that we deal with it personally is having a shotgun accessible. So if we ever see a hog anywhere near our livestock or our property, we shoot it. I know that the city of Cedar Hill was paying for tails. I think it was like $5 a tail for every tail you brought in, to minimize the population of feral hogs in our area. And a lot of our friends got in on that because my friends love to hunt, and getting paid for it is a win-win. I think a major way we can prevent invasive species like this is ensuring that they have natural predators. The natural cycle of predator and prey needs to be in balance, or else the environment is thrown off, and we have overpopulations of these invasive species. So if you ever want to go hog hunting, I encourage you to come to Dallas, Texas, because there is a multitude of invasive species, and you could quite possibly get paid for hunting if that sounds like it's up your alley. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.